Sit down. I'm starved. All this excitement makes me hungry. Don't be shy. Dig in.
I'm not hungry.
Where do you work?
ISC. I'm in dispatch.
Nice apartment. You must have a strong union.
What do you want?
I need information. And I'm a human lie detector. So don't even try to lie to me. Talk to me about Callahan.
I don't know anyone named Callahan.
You broke the first rule already. Let's start again.
I'm telling you the truth. I don't know who you're talking about.
Where were you when the heist went down on Jackson Square?
I didn't hear about it. I was at work.
You were at work during something you don't know about. Strange. Strange to me.
I didn't hear about it.
Listen, there's a gun in your mouth. I might not be able to understand you clearly. So nod your head if you want to leave.
It's time for another fun and exciting episode of the Jean Pod Van Damme Cast. We are reviewing Until Death 2007's rated R 1 hour and 41 minutes action crime drama. But it's not just Jeff and John in studio. We have one of our favorites from Podbros, Damon.
Hello. I'm very excited for this. I said at the inception of this podcast, this was the movie that I wanted to do.
You couldn't have picked a better one.
I don't think Van Damme was in Inception, right?
I'd have to watch it again.
Okay.
I like to think he is.
Actually, I think he would have probably been the token that kept Leonardo DiCaprio going, right?
So, I just, once we get into the meat of this podcast, the folks out there are gonna understand why I love this movie so much.
All right, guys. One of my favorite things about this one is now that we're in the line of Van Damme movies that hardly have anything, there are 4 different plot summaries for this from different people. My favorite might be Me, Baby, Me. It's the shortest out of all of them, saying, Stowe is a dirty cop who is hooked on heroin and everyone dislikes him. Because of an accident, he is put into a coma and comes out of it a better person. He wakes up wanting to put things right. That sums it up.
Succinct.
That sums it up. Compared to that, that.
Those are just the script to the film.
Right. We want you guys to actually listen to this episode instead of the ones that are really good that I say, and then I'm like, oh, that did a better job than us reviewing it. Anyway, this is directed by Simon Fellows. The writers are Dan Harris and James Portales. And here's the fun stuff. The top billed guest. And Damon, you're a lot better at announcing names correctly when it comes to actors and whatnot. So I'm gonna say some names, and you.
Is he gonna translate?
Yeah, he's gonna be the one who actually says them correctly. Okay, we have Van Damme playing Anthony Stowe in this. We have Selena Giles playing Valerie Stowe. Mark Diamond plays Mark Rossini, why did he get third credit in this?
But Stephen Ray's in the movie.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. Stephen Ray's not even popping up on this list until like the 6th one down.
Well, to be fair, he's
sense.
Barely in the movie.
That's true.
Yeah, but I think besides Van Damme, he has some of the biggest star power in the movie.
I was shocked when he showed up in that movie.
I know,
I was
man.
absolutely shocked.
I know. I watched this actually at the time that it came out. I saw it and I was like, whoa. And I saw he was in the film, and if you don't know, he was in V for Vendetta, Underworld,
Crime of the Century.
Yeah, the Crying Games.
I forgot he was in.
He's in a
Underworld.
lot of stuff, and I was surprised to see him. I forgot what came out during that time. Let's see, because I remember watching something and being like, "No way, he's in this."
There was a lot of that, I feel, in the mid to late 2000s with a lot of direct to DVD movies, because I worked at Hollywood Video at the time of this movie being released, and I would purposely rent bad movies just to watch them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I got free
Yep.
rentals. So I rented several Van Damme movies. I rented Wake of Death. I rented
my
something
goodness.
else. I can't remember. It's been 10 years. And then I rented this one. And I, for whatever reason, actually liked it. I thought it was like a legitimately good movie when I was 19, 18.
Yeah, man.
And I remember reading on IMDb at the time, the movie performed really well overseas. And it was one of those movies, like if Van Damme has another movie that performs well like this overseas, another one of these direct-to-DVD ones, there's a studio that was interested in having him be a leading guy in a big-budget movie again. It's
Really?
basically, he had to kind of like prove himself again.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once he got to a certain level, you know, it was just conjecture, hearsay on IMDb's message boards, which are the beacon of information when it comes to movies.
Back in the day, whew, man, that was the IMDb boards. I remember those days. Well, Stephen Ray was in War and Peace in 2016, the TV miniseries. Ruby Strangelove, Young Witch, Asylum. Let's start getting down. Underworld Awakening
Was he in a Saw?
and Saw.
Was he in one of those?
I don't know. Maybe.
How many are there now?
There's
This would be 10 coming up.
yeah.
Holy shit!
Let's see. 66, Breakfast on Pluto. That's a very interesting one with Cillian Murphy. V for
Ooh.
Vendetta.
I thought it was
Proud.
Cillian Murphy.
It is Cillian.
With the
think
C?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't trust the Irish.
I know. That's right. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's why. Because that's what I thought
Oh, yeah,
too.
you're right, because Celtic isn't Celtic,
Yeah,
it's
it's
Celtic.
Celtic,
yeah.
yep.
They're always trying to trick you.
He was in The Good Shepherd 2004. Bloom. Fear.com. There we go.
Oh, my
my
God,
God.
Stephen Dorff.
Fear.com.com.
Stephen Dorff is in a lot of shitty movies. I feel like we should do a podcast dedicated to Stephen Dorff shitty
Oh,
movies. Like Alone in the
Dwarfcast.
Dark.
Hell yeah.
The Dwarf King.
Alone in the Dark is unbelievable, but
The Gate. That was a really good movie.
Oh,
I
I
was a
love
kid
The
in that
Gate.
one.
I think we've mentioned The Gate
Yeah.
quite a few times on this podcast.
We're gonna knock
what
it
was
out at
the
some
like
point.
the bootleg like Rumblefish movie that he did? Like J.D. Mateo in it.
Oh,
What was
Brad
it?
Renfro. Deuce is Wild.
Deuce is Wild.
Dude,
Oh,
we should totally
man.
do a Stephen Dorff podcast.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Write it down.
So many podcasts are stemming from this one.
We could get advertisement revenue from like a e-cig company.
You know what? I smoke blue cigarettes. All right. I think we spent enough time just on Stephen Ray. I won't get into too many others here. William Ash played Surge, and I thought at first it was the Ramsey Bolton kid. And I was like, wait, no, he'd be too
He does
young.
look like him.
I was like, why does he look familiar? So throughout my notes, I just called him the Bolton cop because I didn't know his name.
Absolutely baffled as to like his actual involvement in the plot.
I
I'm so
know, man.
confused as to
I
who he
know.
was.
I was like, that's definitely chopping scene floor. Like, if I had the legitimate, well, I do have the legitimate DVD. What am I saying?
Yeah.
I should check to see the deleted scenes to see if there's actually more like backstory to him.
Because he just kind of showed up at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much so. Gary Beatles, Max C. Jared Harris is Ross. Chad Manson is played by Wes Robinson. That was the kid. R.I.P. to the kid. Spoilers. Sorry.
That is
And
my
that's it.
favorite scene in the movie, by the
Holy
way.
shit, man! I can't. Oh yeah. All right.
Oh,
So
goodness.
there we go. We'll get back into the rest of that beautiful IMDb stuff. So we get into this movie and it opens up and we're in New Orleans, the French Quarter, and it was what, July 15th, 2006 or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have no clue that, or I had no clue it was supposed to take place in New Orleans until recently, because judging by the accents, I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
No,
There's
yeah,
like,
no
there's like
clue.
one random person who says share at some point, and that's
The Ramsey Bolton cop he says bean, like a British person, even though he's supposed to be from
Yeah.
America. Stephen Ray calls Stowe, who's supposed to be Anthony, Tony, so he calls him Anthony a couple times.
Yep, he calls him Anthony. Yep, you're right.
Is
man.
Stephen Ray supposed to be American?
Yes. Yes, he is.
But then Stowe's wife is British. I don't understand what's happening with these accents.
That's what her accent was?
She's British. I know she's British in real life.
I had no clue
Her
what her
American
accent
accent
was
was-
supposed to
yeah.
be.
By the way, on her Wikipedia page, one of the highlights, like one of the notes of her career is that she played the wife of Anthony Stowe in Until Death.
Oh, that's beautiful. This is Millennium Films. We've seen that name before. So, I have in my notes, it said January 15th, 2006. Maybe I screwed that up. Maybe it was July. Whatever.
It
Doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
I don't
Yeah.
even know why they told us the date to begin with, to be honest.
Pure
Oh,
exposition.
Yeah.
Yep. So Van Damme is with a bunch of the other detectives, cops, whatever, scoping someone out. The whole team's in on it. Woman comes out of a taxi with the guy, goes inside a building. Then we see some guy walking in. That's Stephen Ray. He's the bad guy in this film. And it's an art place. They're making a deal. What's the secret combination? Do you guys recall?
I
666.
How could I have forgotten that?
I watched this last Sunday when I was extremely hungover. I'm not gonna lie, I watched it on YouTube. So
Nice. That's how we find some of these. I got lucky because I had a copy of this from back when I watched it originally.
I actually rented it on Amazon Video.
Did you?
Standard definition.
Oh, beautiful.
there's just a lot happening in this movie that's just baffling and confusing.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you really do have to pay attention.
You have the Ramsey Bolton cop kid like being talked to by some punker who's like, "Oh, hey man, like your jacket."
Yeah,
And
so that guy like a gay prostitute?
I
or-
had no clue. That's what I was thinking at first, and then he takes his wallet from him, and he's like, "How much would it cost for you to fucking leave?" And then he swipes his wallet, and he's like, "Oh, that's a $400 stereo," or whatever, man. The bad guy's inside, and he's like, "I want the girl. I want you to undress. The deal's not over." She's like, "What, are you some kind of pervert?" And he's like, "Yes, I am some kind of pervert," which is something that I would probably say if I was a bad guy too.
Mhm.
So that was right up my alley. We get a crazy gunfight. Van Damme jumps the gun. Well, I guess a little pun intended there.
Yeah.
So he decides to go in. Van Damme shoots a couple dudes looking fly with those sideburns.
Hell
He
yeah.
walks in, sees the girl is dead, just shot right in the head. The police bust in. It's just them and Van Damme. He runs up onto the roof, and that's basically it. Stephen Ray's gone. He's like, wah, wah. So Van Damme's partner's like, "You blew it." And now we hear, for whatever reason, what did they did say it was Callahan, right? That's
Callahan, yes.
They did say it. So somehow Callahan's on the line of Van Damme's walkie-talkie or whatever
Yeah.
in his ear. They're talking, and he's telling them to stop playing the good type. Next time, bring your wife. She's more of my type.
Yeah, it was. He keeps going on.
Bizarre
Like,
subplot.
it was where like he's constantly saying that he fucked his wife. It was really
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out what the fuck they were going on about throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, that one was a little weird.
They don't reveal it till like the very end of the movie, and then you're like, well, wait, what?
Wait,
So what was even the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the commissioner is yelling at Van Damme, telling him to go home and clean himself up. They ended up arresting some dude. I'm not sure who that was supposed to be. Van Damme goes into the holding cell with him, or the interrogation room with him, ask him what he was doing there on the street that day. The guy won't answer. Van Damme picks him up, shoves him against the wall. And he's like, "I was picking up my mom." And Van Damme walks out of the room. That's it with that dude. That's it with him.
Yep.
It's all done
Never
there.
mentioned again.
Van Damme's wife calls him. He's like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "Hey, you can actually be a lot nicer than that. Maybe change your tone." And he's like, "All right, what the fuck do you want?" And she's like, how about a date, you asshole?" So Van Damme's talking with another police officer, and I think it's the no, this might have been the Bolton kid he was talking to. He's like, "How do I explain what happened?" And Van Damme goes, "In English, you went to school, right?" And then all of a sudden, Van Damme's like washing up. He's in the restroom, and another cop comes up to him asking him to help with his nephew, like clean up some evidence or whatnot.
It was a pot bust, right?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, yeah, great nephew, pot dealer. and I was like, oh, okay. Then Van Damme rats out the dude. Straight up rats out the dude. He's got a month left before he retires and gets his pension, and Van Damme's an asshole to him. The dude actually helped Van Damme out. And then Van Damme does that to him.
Yeah, Van Damme is a total dickhead in this movie.
He's a dick
it's great.
in this movie. Big time.
Why would you go to him for help when he's like the biggest butthole on the force?
Right, I know exactly. Like, even if he owes you one, like, stay away from that dude. So then Van Damme and the fiance cop, the dude that was supposed to get married to the girl who was undercover who got shot in the head, they start fighting each other.
Oh, yeah, so it was like his girlfriend / fiance / actual partner.
Yeah, which seems like a bad idea.
What a terrible idea. So Van Damme throws some harsh words at him. He said, if you really cared for her, you would have been there with her and not at your desk.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, man.
The line has been crossed.
Oh, so they start fighting. They got to get broken up. Van Damme goes to a bar. He's flirting with the bartender. She's all like, not tonight. I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. A lady comes up to him. No clue who she is, but he buys her a drink. And then we find out who it is while his wife texts him like, where are you? So the girl like points open his jacket, sees the butt of the gun. He's like, I'll make you a deal. I won't charge I won't charge you if you don't charge me. And then the next scene is Van Damme banging the prostitute on the pool table. He nuts in
like 3 strokes.
Yep. He does, dude. Oh, he does.
3 pump chump.
Yep, he bangs her.
It's worse than Highlander 2 when he bangs Virginia Madsen in the alley. It's like 3 strokes. Like, are you kidding me?
Yep, he's like breathing heavily. She's like, I don't care if you're a cop. You're not a human being.
But like, what is he? Because he just nutted her 3 strokes. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so confused by that.
That one, yeah, that was really weird. Just to show that Van Damme's just a slime ball, I guess. So next, Van Damme pulls up in front of this restaurant club thing. I don't even know what you call it. It was a crazy show. That's all. It was New Orleans. The valet's like, hey, buddy, you can't park here. I'm a cop. Feel free to have me towed. So Van Damme shows him. He goes up looking rough to his wife. He apologizes. She's like, do you remember this place? Trying to do whatever accent that was. It was our first date. She lays the news on him. She's pregnant. And he finds out that the baby isn't his. He's a dick about it. He's like, how the fuck could you let this happen? And he's like, you fuck Callahan? She's like, you're sick. Don't try to... And he's like, don't try to fuck the valet on your way out.
That is my favorite line of the whole movie. Oh my God. I laughed so hard when he said that. It's like, that's what really made me pay attention. Like, what the fuck are these accents supposed to be?
Yeah, dude.
Like, Stephen Ray is always talking like this.
Yep. No one has any sort of Southern accent whatsoever in this film. So Van Damme ends up going outside. The poor tow truck guys are getting ready to tow his car. Van Damme headbutts the one. We get a headbutt there. And then he beats the shit out of the other tow guy and then leaves him on the ground. So
not a good cop.
No, not at all. You see the guy, it looks like some guy's following him and you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen? Oh, it's just a heroin deal. Van Damme does it in the car. He's passing out. A creepy dude, like wearing makeup, but that was basically it. Creepy dude looks in on him. Van Damme just looks at him, doesn't give a fuck, and then goes back to sleep. And
so does that normally happen to people when they take heroin? Do they see like creepy old clown monsters?
I'm not sure. I can't confirm, but I did go to school and play football with a guy who was addicted to heroin for a second, so I'll ask him.
Yeah, get back to us on that, please.
Yeah, please. I would like to know. So next day he's in the police stations and they're like, oh, the guy's drunk. He won't turn over his gun or his badge. And guess what? It's the dude who's about to retire. Van Damme's talking to him and he's like, you point a gun at me. You've known me for 15 years. I've been a cop for 21 years here. Never wore a bulletproof vest. Only shot my gun twice. I was going to retire next year. Lost my pension thanks to you. Van Damme's just kind of like, tough shit. They end up cuffing him and it's over. That's it. So then we get the fiance cop talking to Van Damme, calls him a junkie, and the head of police is like, all right, guys, settle down. And Van Damme's just strolling along, trying to figure out this Callahan shit. He asks some random kid on the street, he's like, hey, why aren't you in school? He's like, oh, it's Martin Luther King Day. Maybe it was in January then.
I thought the Martin Luther King Day thing was supposed to be like
I thought
a
it was
joke.
a joke too,
Yeah.
but now that I'm thinking about it and I have it written down in my notes, maybe it was supposed to be legitimate. So he basically asks the kid if he saw Callahan and another dude. He's
How would the kid know who Callahan is?
Yeah.
I don't know. He was like, no, I haven't seen that dude. He didn't see Callahan, but he did see the other guy. And he's like, oh, hey, yeah, I've seen that other dude. And he's like, all right, get it. And the kid's like, oh, no, thanks. Van Damme doesn't even show him his badge or anything. Like, I'd be like, no. He's like, well, too bad. You're going to have to. So the kid gets in the car with them, shows him where the guy lives at. Van Damme shows up to that house. He, like, takes the dude's wife or his girlfriend and, like, basically holds her hostage. Guy comes out trying to scare, like, get Van Damme from behind. Van Damme sees him in the reflection of some face statue thing.
He shoots him, right? He shoots him in, like, the arm or leg.
Well, first he, like, beats him up.
Uh-huh.
And then he ends up shooting Van Damme. Or, not Van Damme ends up shooting him in the shoulder.
Classic police interrogation technique.
Yeah, my dad was a master of that.
I was going to say, we should have got him in studio, too, to talk about all these great interrogation
How accurate would you
methods.
say this film is?
So he wants to know more about Callahan, and he's like, I'm a human lie detector, so don't lie to me. So Van Damme, at one point, the dude's lying to him. Van Damme fucking puts the gun right in the dude's mouth, and the dude just, like, shits his pants right there.
He was, like, deep-throating him with it,
Yeah,
too.
dude. Yeah, it was scary. He's like, just nod your head. Nod your head. Man, this is one of those porns you regret watching.
Afterwards.
We find out he's a wheelman. He doesn't directly deal with Callahan. He just deals with some type of middleman. And then he accuses Van Damme of being the inside man at the police.
Yeah, what the fuck was up with that?
This is where it gets confusing. Van Damme shoots him in the shoulder there, and then two dudes come out of nowhere, point guns at Van Damme. They shoot the dude dead, then shoot the girlfriend.
I
knock out
laughed
Van Damme.
so hard because the girl straight up only has the two lines when Van Damme is first trying to get to the apartment. And then she's just standing on the patio, and the dude just turns and looks at her, just drops three shots into her. And she's like laying there screaming on the ground.
Fucking done. So they drag him to some place, tie him up on a bench press, and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Oh my
And
God.
I was like, whoa. All the meanwhile, Ramsey Bolton cop is like trying to like, hey, where the fuck are you, dude? You went without me. It's like, is that supposed to be his partner or what?
Yeah, it's supposed to be his partner. It's
were
implied.
They were assigned together. He's like, you're with Surge. And he was mad because he was the one who he said blew the last bust, the last operation.
Oh, okay.
That's why he just
All right.
fucked off.
Yeah, makes sense then. The guys get the drill, and then Surge comes in and just fucking kills the guys, and then calls it in right after. He's just like, oh, yep, two dead. So,
How did he find him?
Yeah.
I know, right?
He's a good cop.
He's a good cop. That's exactly
He used
it.
his instincts.
Just not good enough.
Yeah, he found
Wink,
another
wink.
teenager to direct him.
So Van Damme's with the bartender at a diner. Like, he goes to the bars, they close up shop. She takes him to the diner. She's like, he keeps it open after hours for me. Van Damme looks wasted. She orders herself a water, orders Van Damme 2 shots of scotch, or 2 glasses of scotch.
I wish we had a diner around here that serves scotch.
I know. Holy hell, man. That'd be sweet.
Can I get a Coney dog and some scotch? Thank you.
Yeah, dude. So he's drinking. She's trying to ask him stupid questions. Then she's like, I need to use their bathroom, and then ducks out of the place. All of a sudden, Van Damme realizes what's going on. These guys walk in. We see another shoot up in this whole diner. I'd be pissed if this was my diner.
Yeah.
They're like, do you know what kind of diner this is? We serve scotch with Coney dogs here.
My fucking deductible is going to be ridiculous.
So everyone starts shooting up. Van Damme screaming, want to kill me, show yourself. He shoots ketchup, which gets into the guy's eyes, and then shoots him. That's my favorite trick. That's the oldest trick in the book, man.
Another
It's
classic
usually a
police
fire
technique.
extinguisher
Yeah.
or something. Like, this ketchup
Nope,
is
the ketchup
that Heinz
right in the eyes.
51 just too much to handle.
Here we have Joe Smith died because of ketchup in his eyes. Shoots the other dude. He actually does pull the old trick where he's laying on the ground, shoots the other dude in the leg, and then just fucking kills him once he lands to the floor. Then we get a shotgun dude who's trying to take out Van Damme. Van Damme comes out of nowhere, point blank, order up, serves him with a fucking right to the face. Just pop! Like right at the server window. Oh, that was beautiful. Takes the shotgun from that dude. Another guy walks in. Van Damme loads on him with the shotgun. He goes out back, but is blinded by the lights of the Jeep. And a guy starts choking him out of nowhere. Callahan shows up. He's like, surprised you didn't see this one coming, narc cop. He has a few last words for him, but he whispers them in his ear. We don't get to hear it.
I think he says, I fucked your wife.
He did mention fucking his
right.
wife.
Yeah. So that's...
just one more time for the road.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That at the tail end of it, that's when he comes back saying, that's why I wanted you to burn in hell with the last words knowing that I fucked your wife. So the guy shoots Van Damme pretty much point blank. The cops
under the chin,
yeah.
right?
Under the
and
chin.
it's like very dramatic because it's point blank when he shoots him, but the bullet going up through his chin, like the dude's not even in the frame. The gun's not even in his chin. It's just a slow mo, like the bullet going up.
Yep.
It's like super quick cut, and then Van Damme's head explodes.
Yep, and then Van Damme's head explodes, man. And so the cops show up. Van Damme ended up handcuffing the dude to the Jeep at the time. So the dude shoots his own hand off.
Yeah, that made no sense. Like he's trying to shoot the handcuffs instead of like the chain connecting the handcuffs. And he's like,
I know, right? Yeah.
And
it's like, why didn't he just put the gun right to it and just shoot it?
Yeah.
Right.
Or also, like, I'm not going to lie, like, what was he handcuffed to?
It was a bumper, right?
It was, yeah.
You could probably just rip the bumper right off.
It was the front wrecking, like, tow bar thing on the Jeep. So
okay. I think I'd rather just be arrested than blow my own hand off.
Blowing my right hand off. Holy shit,
Although
man.
that led to one of the most disturbing looking amputee props I've ever seen in my life.
Holy hell yeah, dude. It was better than on the Defenders with Styx amputee. Spoilers there, sorry. So,
God damn it, John! I haven't finished Daredevil yet.
It's not that big of a spoiler.
Also, how did he shoot his hand off? Like he just had a.
I have a lot of questions about the caliber of that gun.
Yeah,
because it like the exit wound for Van Damme, although it was a lot of blood that splattered out the top of his head, and then like blow his head apart.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, okay, if he could shoot through his bone and completely disconnect his hand, that Van Damme should be dead. Like the top of his skull should be completely blown
He wouldn't
apart.
have a face.
Yeah. It's like a Desert Eagle, right?
Yeah, that's what it would.
But it looked like a 45.
Yeah, it was not something you would think could just disconnect a hand.
Yeah.
He'd probably have to shoot it a couple times.
Yeah, he would have to dump like 8 shots into his hand.
And then like, kind of like... I don't know.
Yeah, man, that one was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, slightly unrealistic.
And he gets away with it. Van Damme's looking pretty bad. He's in the yard. They're having to use
like
the pads
exact
on
same.
him.
It's just like the scene from RoboCop.
Yes.
Like
man.
Exactly like.
Heard this guy was kind of an asshole. But then they're like the doctors' mouths aren't moving or anything. It's totally ADR. Like they've done this in post.
Dude, and then the doctors are talking to him, but it's his wife's voice and the other voices. They're still working on him. They see that he's on heroin. They shaved his head all hilarious, like, because of the bullet exit wound. And it looks like Van Damme just basically had the horseshoe haircut. So I was hoping that he'd stay like that for the rest of the film.
Oh, man, if only.
Yeah. So we see that the chief of police is there, his soon-to-be ex-wife's there, and Mark, the adulterer with his wife, are there as well.
The cuckolder.
Yep. He's in a coma, lucky he's still alive. His wife is now at their house looking at old pictures, and she starts taking them down. So now his office is being cleaned, and the lady, I don't think they ever even said her name. I'm not sure, but she...
Oh, the black lady has to watch him?
No, the older white lady
the lady
at the
cop.
office.
Oh, yeah, she's like almost like a secretary.
Yeah,
kinda,
in a weird way. Yeah, exactly. So she's opens up his stuff, cleaning things, sees his heroin kit. She calls the chief in. The fiance cop comes in. He's like, some hero, huh? And said he basically, hey, do you want me to call the feds or are you going to do it? And the chief of police is like, fuck off, dude. He's just been shot in the head.
Whoa. Why would they call the feds in if he had a heroin? Like,
yeah, I know, just for some heroin.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like he was dealing
you would call like the district attorney's office, maybe.
Right, yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I think that was one of those things that either he forgot his line and just they're like, fuck it, we'll go with it, or they just were like, whatever.
They just have no clue how police procedure works.
Yeah, exactly.
Why were they rummaging through his like Altoids tin full of heroin anyways? I think I was very nosy.
Yeah,
of her.
I wouldn't touch his
no.
desk. If anything, you're like, we're not going to touch his desk until he pulls
right
through
until
something like that.
exactly let him clean it up. Callahan ends up meeting up with some older dude who is like wearing some type of, not really a Hawaiian shirt, but kind of like a Tommy Bahama shirt. They're out by the docks. She just shoots the dude right in the stomach.
Yeah, out in the open.
Yep, out in the open, right in the stomach. Doesn't matter.
There is a lot of baffling scenes of people getting shot in this movie.
Yeah, dude. We go into that black and white little scene where Callahan looks to be like he's taking over the territory. He's killing dudes. They're being shot and hanged. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, they like hang 3 guys and then they shot him in the stomach. I'm
Yeah,
like, why
man.
didn't they just stab him in the stomach?
I know.
They're already like strung up.
Yeah, oh man.
Baffling forms of execution left and right
yeah.
in this movie.
Like the hot tub scene.
Yeah! Oh, I forgot about the hot tub
This
scene.
Phoenix Marie looking chick is like takes her panties off, is ready to rock and roll. Then, first of all, I'm not gonna say like I'm an expert with like handguns or anything, but if you want to make sure someone gets dead and you want to make sure no one knows you did it, an Uzi 9mm, it's not the weapon that you go with, because that dude came in just spraying rounds. Like, all right, cool. There's all kinds of evidence everywhere. You can trace these rounds back to you, dumbass. Just use a handgun or kill him a different way.
And what weird scenes of nudity in this film, too.
Yes.
Like, he's banging the prostitute, and at first you see just the ass shot, and then she turns, and her blouse is open, too, and her tits are just hanging out, and you're like, wait, what was the point of that? And then that scene, the black and white scene, they're in the jacuzzi, the girl's boobs are just hanging
Why was
there.
it black and white?
They were used as like a weird passage of time.
Yeah. They use a lot of really weird like panning shots and trick photography. Like they'll like have a shot and it'll turn upside down to what's going on the opposite side of the room, and they'll have random shaky cam scenes, and it was really strange.
It was like the director of photography was just like, I'm just gonna
I'm coming in here.
Yep. This is my resume.
It's my time to shine.
As long as there's no fucking Dutch angles, I hate Dutch angles.
Oh, man. So, meanwhile, Van Damme's old wife and Mark are celebrating a birthday or something. That they were like, oh, hey, this is them getting on with their life. We're back at the hospital. Van Damme's still in a coma, but he wakes up. The guy checking on him's like, hello, welcome back to Earth. Can you understand what I'm saying? You've been asleep for 57 years. Just kidding. Then the doctor comes in, checks on him. Van Damme doesn't say anything. So the chief of police is talking to his ex now, or soon-to-be ex, and he's like, you got to take him in. He has nowhere to go. She doesn't want to, but she gets a fat check from that insurance policy, man. Close to $1 million.
She's like, we're getting a divorce, and he says, you can't divorce him now.
Right, yeah. Yep.
You'll look like a bitch.
Yep. And so the next scene, they're in the house. She's like, I love you, Mark. Not him, but she feels responsible for what happened to him. Meanwhile, the next scene, she can't sleep at night, and George Foreman is selling us the G5 because it's named after all 5 of his kids named George.
That scene was baffling. Are Jean-Claude Van Damme and George Foreman friends? It was a straight-up advertisement in the middle of the movie, and it was a solid 30 to 40 seconds of advertising.
Yeah, dude.
I couldn't understand that.
That one
Does George Foreman have a credit in this movie?
He should.
He had
not
more screen time than some of the characters.
Yeah, man. So she checks
on him. He had more
him.
screen time than Ramsey Bolton kid.
She's checking on Van Damme. He's trying to say something. He couldn't really figure it out. Next day, what I didn't know, I was like, is this his physical therapist, the person that's just looking after him? Is she a nurse? Is she a doctor? She's talking with her, and, they're talking back and forth, and he's like, oh, yeah, he's going to be trying to, but it's mostly nonsense right now. She's like, no, he said Earth and Angel. And she's like, that was our song a long time ago. So then we see Callahan is talking about him getting an update on Van Damme, and he's in some park, and then that's it. And Van Damme switches back to him trying to do his alphabet. The physical therapist trainer is telling him what to expect, not being able to taste things and walking with a limp, yada, yada, yada.
How the hell was he able to, the bullet went up through, his upper palate and, up through the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
How does he even have, a mouth or, sinuses or anything anymore? So, he wouldn't after that, right?
Well, I think the way the bullet angles up, it went straight up through the top. Like
It was right where he was. His knot.
it came
his
up the
knot-
front of his head
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, it was where
It
his
hit that
knot
weird
is.
knot in his forehead.
Which,
Yeah.
because the guy put the gun right under his chin. How did it come
Yeah.
out the front of his head?
I remember. I think the doctor was explaining how basically it got lucky. It was one of those weird where I've had people in the past tell me about getting shot. You know, the entry wound's this way, and then all of a sudden it's like down their back, the exit wound, and you're like, how the hell does the bullet travel like that? And I was like, does weird shit. So I guess that's their excuse to get away with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I think sometimes with certain calibers of bullet, when you get shot, it kind of bounces around inside of your body because it's bouncing off the shit. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. I hope I never get shot.
Yeah, please.
Don't shoot us, guys.
No, don't shoot us.
If we haven't made that clear yet, we don't want to be shot.
No, not yet. So the police are watching their house. And, one guy comes in and he starts trying to kill Van Damme. Van Damme
Yes.
smashes the
He's in a
glass on
doctor's
him.
outfit, right? Or a nurse's outfit.
Was he?
I thought he was dressed up.
I thought he was
There's
just
one
dressed
guy
up
who
as a
tried to
cop.
give him a lethal injection in his sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And he smashes him with the glass.
And the physical therapist comes with a gun.
Yeah,
I thought she was a cop because she had a gun. And she was like picking her shots.
Yeah.
Like she knew how to shoot.
Spoiler alert, she is a cop. Like, at the tail end, he
Yep.
sees her, and they're like, this is Detective so-and-so. And he's like, oh. And I was like, oh. So that
okay.
makes sense. That's why she is a cop. She was undercover watching him.
Oh, my God.
She said something like someone had to watch her back or whatever. So
why wouldn't she just outright be a cop?
yeah, I don't know. Because
Why do they need to hide her identity?
first off, like, holy hell, this cop is actually working on you with your physical therapy and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, like, not only is she a police officer, but she's a physical therapist, too. Like, she's pulling double
what
duty.
turns did her life take where she has all this knowledge about physical therapy? She knew her
Seriously,
shit.
man.
She knew all this stuff about nerve damage and sinuses. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get your taste buds working again, and
oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I want a movie about her.
Yeah, seriously. She's badass. Call it Until Death, too. Wait till I come to save you. So we get some more next black and white scenes, more mob people dying. Then X and Mark are talking, and he was like, what did you ever see in this guy? And she's like, it's hard to explain. He's like, you know what? I think I should go back to my place. Fine. She's looking at old pictures of them again. Van Damme comes out walking, stumbling. A pregnant woman should not drink.
his post headshot accent was amazing.
Yeah, man. And she's like, if you've had the day I've had, I think it's okay to have one drink. And she's like, how are you feeling? Much better. Thank you.
He just talked like how you normally talk, but he would like kind of pretend to stumble over his words,
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
act like he had head trauma.
Yeah,
Kind of like a Belgian Frankenstein or something.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. So he goes back and you see she's starting to get conflicted.
Oh, yeah.
He walks into the district office and then whole police quarters right there. Everyone has that holy fuck. Oh, no, the one actually, she does say it. His secretary lady,
Yeah.
she's like,
It's a
holy
holy
fuck. And everyone's just done. Like, they're like, what? They stop talking. It's silent in there.
Fiance cop shakes his hand. They bury the hatchet.
Yeah, they bury the hatchet. Exactly. He wants to see the chief. He apologizes. He said it's okay. He wants to come back as a narc detective. You think you're ready? Yeah. Well, you're not. He's like, I fucking found heroin in your desk, you asshole. You got a lot of balls coming back here asking to come be a
Also,
cop.
how many months had passed
That's what I
between
was-
him getting
yeah.
shot and him wanting to come back?
Yeah, man. I don't
Enough
know.
for him to
That's
grow
the
his
thing.
haircut back.
Yeah, because it was ridiculous that he would even want to be a cop again after that or try to come back as a
Yeah,
narc detective.
seriously.
It's like,
man.
how could you be a narc detective? Like, everyone knows who you are.
Right, yeah, dude. Oh, hey, there he is, the dude with the giant splitting scar on his forehead. Watch
That-
out.
and
It was
then,
on
like,
the news, yeah.
So back to like when I mentioned my dad was a narc in the early 90s, and the average rotation for an undercover cop or a narc is like a year and a half because people start figuring out who
Figuring
you are.
out. That, yeah, I could see it.
Especially if you have a thick Belgian accent.
Yeah.
In America,
Yeah.
in southern United States.
And again, everybody had a weird accent in this movie, so I guess it's in a universe where everybody has a different accent, so you just ignore
We'll get
it.
to that when we get to the trivia part.
Oh man. So the last line the chief of police says to him is, "Let me know if you need anything but your old job." I was like, hot damn, he got him.
Stained him.
So, Mark and the soon-to-be ex-wife are talking at the school. She's conflicted some more. Van Damme's staring at her from the park across the street. And he limps away. Meanwhile, the SWAT is breaking into an Asian restaurant with the Bolton-looking cop. They break up basically a terrible game of poker. And they're like, oh, man, we got set up here. It was nothing at all. There's not even a basement to this place. He goes into the trunk of the car. He gets fucking shot in the back of the head.
What is happening with that scene? I watched that scene. I was in my bed on my laptop, and I actually sat up and had to go back like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, like, what happened? Why did it happen?
There's no evidence that Callahan's even been here for very long. And then he's just like, what are you going to the trunk of your car for? And where did that fucking sniper come from?
All right, dude. And why the fuck is everyone else in SWAT gear and you're just like, you know what? No, I'm okay. I'm just
and what average criminal has the sniper skills to fucking hit him in the top of the dome piece like that?
Dude, seriously, man.
With the trunk over his head.
Yeah. Seriously.
And then he's just never spoken of again, what was the point of putting him in the movie in the first place? Like, why even make him a character?
Just to have the scene as like another catalyst for Van Damme to turn his shit around. Because Van Damme goes to his grave and it's like, sorry, partner.
Yeah,
that's it. It's over.
That's it. Yep, you're right. So the kid comes by to tell Van Damme about all the info. He drops him off some fresh fruit because last time he saw him, he didn't look like he was eating so well. And I was like, oh, this kid.
Some scurvy.
What a good kid.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, man. So Van Damme ends up signing a check for $435,000. I'm like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? He gives it to his buddy cop that he screwed over with the pension. He said he wanted to say he's sorry. Then he plucks flowers from their guardian and leaves. I was like, you fucking asshole, man. You screwed me out of my pension. Then, okay, you're making it back with almost giving me $500,000 here. But then you fucking plucked the flowers that I'm sure me and my wife probably planted. Didn't even ask us.
Okay, again, back to the having a police officer as a father thing. My father was a high-ranking police official before he retired. $500,000? What the fuck? What did you do? Where did you get that from?
Yeah, that's what he said. He was like, the high insurance policy. But I was like, dude.
But you didn't die.
I know. I was going to say, yeah, you didn't fucking die. Like, and even then, I don't know if you get that much money if you die.
He pulled insurance fraud.
What the fuck? I guess we're supposed to assume that because he's a dirty cop, it might have been money that he got from payoffs and stuff like that. Maybe that's what it was.
I don't know because his wife gets the $750,000 check because of this whole thing. But I was like, all right. Everyone that I know, like, if you got shot, you'd make, I've heard about $400,000. Now, that's a good amount of money. I'm sure if you died, you'd probably make a decent amount of money off your life insurance policy there. But he didn't die.
Nope.
And so now he's going to give half away of this. And I'm pretty sure the government's going to be like, what the fuck? What's this large amount of money doing? Why are you moving it? Yeah.
I was just going to say,
and then
no
the other cop was like, hey, how did you just get $435,000?
Yeah.
What kind of pension does he have?
I know.
Where to make up for the money that he lost, he gave him $500,000.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Like, that's why my dad still fucking does security. He's like, the pension doesn't pay that
shit,
great.
Man, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. So Van Damme goes to the cemetery, lays the flowers down on the grave of Ramsey Bolton.
Stolen flowers.
Yeah, the stolen flowers.
What kind of piece of shit? You got $500,000 to give to that guy, but you can't fucking actually buy flowers for your partner?
Whatever. Just say.
It's your fault that he's dead?
Yep. Oh, man. So he goes back at home, sees that his wife's leaving, says it's his place. She's going to Mark's condo. He packs her up, helps her. She tells him to take care of himself. He's like, take care of the baby. They hug and she's off. He tries calling her while she's driving. He sees a note from her saying, this is my new phone number and residence, yada, yada, yada. I think she drove through a red light too, actually. Like, legitimately, I saw.
Well, she was married to a cop.
That's true. I mean,
I actually, now that you mention it, she did drive through a red light.
Like, I saw the red light. I was like, what? What's going on there?
Was it in a reflection? Or they actually shot it?
They shot it and she drove through the red light. Like, it's a red light.
I think they were trying to add maybe some kind of drama that she might get like T-boned or something.
Yeah.
She was drinking while she was pregnant, so she might as well just drive
recklessly. You are allowed to have one drink while you're pregnant.
So he calls Mark. He ends up going to that place, and Mark is like, is this a joke? She's going back to you. Meanwhile, at the house, I forgot to mention, the kid shows up at the house. Van Damme's like, hey, just stay here. I'll be back in a half hour. Instead of just being like, ride your bike around the block for a little bit and then come back.
There's motherfuckers out here trying to kill me. They kill my partner. You stay here where they know I live.
And he has no clue that his wife's going back to the house. So the kid's like, hey, I dropped off some fresh fruit because last time I saw you, you look like you're actually eating well. So,
such a polite young man.
Yeah, I know, dude. Such a polite young man.
My favorite character, really.
Yep. He doesn't get to see out the rest of his life.
No.
Let's take a moment of silence right now. Because Van Damme's wife shows up back to the house. The kid's there. There's a dude.
One-armed man.
Lefty. Lefty shows up. Looks at the kid. She's like freaking out.
Dude. The most awkward scene I think I've ever seen in the movie. There's this long, pregnant pause. The guy kind of looks at the kid. It's straight up like 45 seconds of them cutting back and forth. There's no talking. The woman is kind of just in the background, kind of like looking like pained and conflicted. And the kid looks at the guy and closes his eyes. And he kind of like tenses up.
Yeah.
And the dude just kind of sniffs. It just shoots the kid right in the fucking head. Holy shit.
Oh, man. I couldn't believe that scene.
Yep.
I wish I need to just get that that scene alone and put it on YouTube or something.
Yep.
I can rip it for you, dude. I can make that happen.
Yeah, that one. Whew. Yeah, that.
I like the pregnant pause pun, by the way.
yeah.
Call the scene pregnant pause.
Pregnant pause. Just leave it as that pregnant pause. Show. Oh, that's
no
beautiful.
audio, dude. He blew that kid's fucking head apart.
Yeah, dude.
That
kid,
time they were sure to.
He's dead.
Made sure he was dead.
Yeah, made sure he was dead. Van Damme shows up. Kid's dead. The lefty is standing right there. So somehow he like, hey, Callahan wants to talk to you. Gets in Van Damme's BMW and lets him fucking drive. Okay, that makes sense.
On him.
And then Van Damme knocks the dude out, basically, then holds the gun to his face. Van Damme shows up in a warehouse with dudes all around. It looks like there's BMWs everywhere.
There were a lot of BMWs.
Van Damme pulls the dude out. Everyone's pointing guns at one another. Callahan tells him to drop the gun. He has his wife. He mentions something about never being a bad cop. And then there's like, okay, this is where it gets fucking weird. They were partners.
Callahan was a cop.
Callahan was a cop. That's right.
He was a cop, but he's also actively a criminal, and people know who he is.
Yep.
And he's actively murdering people to try to take over the territory.
Yep.
Like, the feds absolutely would swoop in on this fucking guy.
Yeah, definitely. He's like, yes, I wanted to fuck your wife, but she loved you. I don't know why. And that's when he says, I want you to go to hell knowing I was fucking your wife.
But, like, he didn't fuck his wife?
He said, I'm just fucking with you. I never fucked your wife.
Yeah.
That was so confusing because it was like a huge plot point.
Yeah.
It was like the driving catalyst for him to freak out and cause them to actually separate.
Right.
Just kidding. I didn't fuck your wife.
No, I didn't. I wanted to, but I was such a good friend that I didn't.
But he does because he attempts to kidnap her.
And then he was going to, like, force them to be a family together?
Yeah, Undertaker and Stephanie McMahon? Like, is there like a black ritual wedding? Like, are you gonna fucking marry me, you cunt? Like, what the fuck?
I know. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm starting a new life with my wife. He's like, me, a father. Can you believe it, Tony? Brain's still working.
And he keeps calling him Anthony over and over again.
Yep,
It's driving me crazy.
Yep. Yeah, man. And then, oh shit, all of a sudden, the fiance clean cop pops up. He's the turncoat. He's pointing the gun at Callahan, though, saying he needs insurance. Then all of a sudden...
There's this weird Mexican standoff.
Oh, yeah, dude. Then the old cop comes out of nowhere, pointing his gun now. Van Damme's looking all around. Everyone's shooting one another.
It's another pregnant pause before they start shooting each other, too. Like, they're all kind of looking around as the camera's constantly cutting. And then the old cop straight up just executes fiance cop. Just blows him right away.
Dude.
Well, you know, he's technically not a cop anymore. So.
Or old guy, pension dude. How about that?
Yeah, dude.
So it's okay for him to murder people at that point.
He's fine now because he only shot his gun twice while as a police officer.
He shoots his gun a lot more after this.
Oh, yeah, dude. Definitely. Shoots the one-handed man, dude, in the head. I mean, there's a lot of gruesome.
He says,
death in
what's the
this
kid's name that got killed by him? Cody or something?
Was it Chad?
Chad. Oh, yeah, Chad.
Chad
He
Benson?
He goes, Chad forgives you. I don't. Blows him away.
Blows him away.
It's like that's where Rick Ross got his album from. God forgives, I don't. It shoots him.
Then Van Damme is crashing into dudes with his BMW. This is a great BMW commercial. It's like, look at our car. Even bullets can't stop it.
Run over people left and right.
His buddy gets shot in the leg. Van Damme ducks down with him, and I don't know. This is a weird warehouse. Guys still shooting each other. 6 or 7 guys still.
This was a really long.
It was a
gunfight.
long,
Really
gunfight,
long
man.
scene.
Yeah.
I appreciate what they did because I'm a big fan of like really good like gunfight type
Oh
scenes.
yeah.
This is actually a very good scene as far as like, using tactics and strategy in a gunfight, but also it went on for way too
yeah.
long.
Oh, dude, yeah,
It was
man.
legitimately like I think 7
like-
minutes long.
Yeah, it's like the last bit of the movie, basically.
That's I think it was trying to make up like this movie's pacing was bizarre because there wasn't, despite like the occasional montage of like people
Right.
getting shot in their
Yeah.
house and whatnot.
Here's
There
what
wasn't that much
happened while he's
action.
trying to
Yeah.
recuperate.
Also, can we talk about how it's clearly broad daylight when this gunfight's
Yeah, when
going
this-
on? And when he chases after
Yeah.
Stephen Ray,
Everything's
it's
fine
totally dark.
in a fucking empty warehouse where you know that it would echo like shit in there. Oh man! So Callahan tells the wife to get up. She says, "Go ahead, shoot me." He just slaps
He
her.
pistol whipped her.
Yeah,
he hit her
dude.
in the face with the butt of the gun.
So Van Damme's laying dudes out. Callahan's taking the girl towards a helicopter. She needs him to stop.
Where the fuck did he like get an army of like 100 goons in this
I know,
warehouse and a
dude.
helicopter? And...
That's what happens when you take out other fellow mob bosses. You just absorb their goons.
Oh wow!
You bring it in.
I
And
guess
it
it
was
makes
like,
sense.
what? My bosses are actively trying to make deals with a fucking cop like
I
that.
know, right?
It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
could probably be undercover, asshole.
Yeah,
like, I'm
I
not
know,
going to
exactly.
talk to you.
Yeah, fuck off, dude. No. So Van Damme shoots, Callahan shoots, like they're holding their guns right at one another, looking at each other. I thought they were going to kiss because it was so intense.
Which, this part is very confusing because it is totally predicated on which version of the movie you have. I watched it illegally, so the version I have might have a different ending from your DVD copy, but go ahead.
Oh, man, I'm
Ooh.
interested. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like someone shoots, then the scene ends, it brings back up, the ambulance is there, the cops are all there. It looks like Van Damme was shot in the arm because he has a sling on. And the detective comes out of nowhere that was helping Van Damme. He's like, oh, holy shit, that's funny. And we see the fiance was there the whole time. And 3 years later, a little girl is in a house running into her mom. She runs to Van Damme. He's smiling and laughing. The shot continues outside and goes up into the sun, and that was it. The end.
Yeah, Van Damme fucking died in the version I watched. They killed
What?
each other.
Are you serious?
They both shoot each other and kill each other, and it fast forwards to Van Damme's wife holding their son, and he goes to the grave, and it says Anthony Stowe, a great father, great cop. They kill each other in the version I watched. Yeah,
I would've
they
liked that
fucking
version a
shoot
lot
each
better.
other. Yeah, and it's really awkward because they both have the guns to each other's collarbones and
Yeah.
are looking at each other, and it cuts to their eyes back and forth, and you just hear a gunshot,
yeah.
and then that's it.
And then that's it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
It was heavy duty shit when I watched that.
Wow.
Because I when I first watched it when I was working at the video store, that was the version I saw, that ending. And then
Really?
yeah. And then when they died, I go, wait a second. I
Yeah,
don't remember
yeah. You're
this.
like, I don't remember this. Yeah, dude. I've never seen
Wow.
anything.
Van Damme dying is the original ending. That's how they
Wow.
originally filmed, and they changed it when it came to America.
Makes
because
sense.
We love happy endings. So.
Yeah. Wow. That's
I like that ending a
amazing.
lot better.
Yeah, I do too, man. I gotta go check that out. I know there's like 3 different versions on there, and they were inverted too. Like,
The one I had was like sped up, kind of. So you have to
oh
slow
yeah,
it down.
you have to slow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's so weird. And then like the kid will think that Jean-Claude Van Damme's his dad.
Right. I
But he
know
wasn't his
exactly, but he's
dad.
not your dad. So Mark's your dad. So
And then the dirty cop was kind of his dad too, because he forced them to get married.
yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Well, anyway, now it gets into our dads and ratings. No, what would you guys give this out of 10 splits?
9, absolutely 9.
Beautiful.
Let me think. I'd probably give it 8. I think 8 was a fine number for it.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle of you two. I'm at 8.5 splits. I absolutely
We're
enjoyed
split for
this.
splits.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed this film, dude. I don't know what it was. The more and more we talk about it, the more and more we're laughing about it and having fun at some of the ridiculousness of it. But I was simply surprised. Van Damme he always fucking surprises me.
Yep.
Like his acting, even though it was goofy when he got fucking shot in the head and was like, thank you. I still enjoyed it. I don't know. Van Damme was just having the time of his life in the mid 2000s.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I'm making a comeback.
It's funny, like
Doing
this
that
movie,
awesome Showtime show or Star show, whatever it was, like following him around because he's getting ready to come back for a kickboxing match.
We've been trying to find that. It used to be up on YouTube. It's not there anymore. You can only see
Sadness.
clips from it. So we'll find that though somehow, some way.
Yeah, that show was fucking great. They think Van Damme's doing coke and
Yeah.
not taking this serious.
He's yelling, screaming, crying at his wife. I love the animals. Oh, the animals. Oh man. So anyway, yeah, definitely. I would definitely watch this film.
if you enjoyed movies like Bad Lieutenant, then only watch like the first 48 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, because he doesn't get shot in the head until like almost an hour in.
Yeah,
it is
like
for
everything
real.
that we've just spent like the last half hour describing is like only 20 minutes in the film.
Yeah, seriously. Honestly. All right, so now we're into trivia here. Ringo Lam was offered to direct the movie, but declined because of creative differences with the producer. Ringo Lam fucking makes
Ringo
his way
Lam.
again.
Yep, because I was laughing about that because I just listened to Maximum Risk and I was like, holy shit, this is meant to be.
Oh man, Ringo Lam and Van Damme have this on and off again relationship,
Yep.
and I love it every time
It's
he
a
pops
beautiful
up.
thing. They make great music together. They really do.
hmm Scott Adkins was offered to play the character Van Huffle, but he could not sign to play this role because of other commitments. He was replaced by Adam Leese. Okay. A lot of the scenes were shot in Bulgaria. In particular, the school in the movie is the American College of Sofia.
That explains all the BMWs. And that explains
Yes.
everyone's baffling accents.
Holy
Yes.
shit. Yes, you are totally right. Originally, Nick Ingman was hired to orchestrate and conduct the score, but due to some rescheduling issues, it became necessary to move his recording session from Dublin to London to record in the Abbey Road studios.
Huh.
Because of the other commitments at the revised recording time, Ingman had to be replaced by another conductor, Nick Rain.
I did some research about that guy. I'm like, why is this even trivia? I looked it up. This guy's actually like a legitimate composer. He did the score for, or composition for, Billy Elliot, The
Oh,
Passion
no
of
way.
the Christ,
Wow.
and something else that's really good. Not Schindler's List. It's something else. He's got some legitimate credits.
Wow.
Like he's a legitimate composer, and I can't believe like he was going to work.
He
on
was going
this movie.
That's crazy. Wow. Because some of these, one of them we read that it was trivia for a stunt guy was like, oh, this guy was going to work on the film, but then he didn't because of a conflict. And we were like, why is this trivia? Like, no one cares. That actually is really cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, like Scott Adkins has been he was in Universal Soldier, not Regeneration, I think the one after that, where fucking Luke Devereaux is like a terrorist or something. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. All right. So on to quotes. Valerie. Anthony, I'm pregnant. Anthony. How could you forget to? Valerie. The baby isn't yours. Anthony. You fucked him. You fucked Callahan. Valerie. You're sick. Don't ever talk to me ever again. Try not to fuck the valet on your way out.
Iconic line.
Yep. Should have been the tagline for the movie.
Try not to fuck your valet.
Oh,
Hey,
I
Wicked
didn't
Pictures, we got a great tagline for you.
Oh, dude, I didn't read the tagline for this.
What is it? Is it it?
It's no way. Don't fuck the valet on your way. It's not the plan. It's the execution.
Wait,
What is it supposed to mean?
That-
What does that have to do with a movie?
Nothing at all. The
Maybe someone was
valet
trying to-
line makes a better tagline than that.
I say
does.
maybe someone was trying to make some sort of like Plan B thing about her being pregnant, but that's just
Yeah,
like
like-
kind of like a subplot, really.
That's weird. Anthony Callahan. Ha! Van Huffle. Hey, I'm Jimmy. Shut the fuck up, Jimmy.
Dude, I cackled so hard that shut the fuck up.
Yep, that was good. You're such an asshole. You know that? You're a horrible man. And you know what? No one's telling you that you deserve everything that you got and more. Narcotics cop goes undercover, becomes an addict. It's all part of the job, yeah? Do you ever think that maybe, just maybe, it's because you're a junkie? Ha ha ha. From asshole to vegetable in one bullet. That's the fucking book I'm gonna write.
That guy was a dick.
Yeah. Sorry. Stop saying that. Huh. Seems nice. If you're going to take a shot at a cop, make sure you kill him. And the fact that you were willing to take that shot means you have a lot to say. And that's it.
Oh,
There we
man.
go.
Some memorable quotes.
Yeah,
Beautiful
more than
quotes.
we have gotten for the last couple movies.
Yeah, definitely, man. That was nice. So up next we have The Shepherd, 2008, and Van Damme plays Jack Robideau. I don't know. I've never seen this one
Robideau?
actually. Robideau, Robideaux.
Oh, like Luke Devereaux.
That's right. That's
Is he a
exact-
Cajun again? I'm assuming he is.
I think so actually. Or I saw Border Patrol in this. So no, he's from Texas. So.
Hey,
All right.
it's not as good as him being Paul Savage in Hardcore.
Oh, yes. Yep. Oh, Mr. Savage. What are you drinking? Just water. All right. Well, that's it, guys. We hope you enjoyed that episode. Damon, thanks for coming and guest spotting
Not a
on
problem.
this.
That was incredible. The pleasure is all mine.
Oh, dude, it was absolutely
Oh.
wonderful. Just,
A hoot.
I'm
yes.
trying to think of any other Van Damme movies that I want to come back for, and I think I might come back for Expendables 2 because that is incredible. Like, he is so tremendous in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I know, man.
goat is the symbol of Satan.
I can't wait till we review that one.
the Van Damme roundhouse kick in that movie is ramped up to 11. It's so absurd.
It's a controlled
yeah.
kick.
It's called a controlled kick.
It's a controlled kick. This motherfucker's been fucking dome piecing people with roundhouse kicks for 25 years.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did recording it. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and leave a review. Thank you for all of our new listeners. I saw the numbers for August, and I did 10 splits in a row after that. I was so excited. So thank you, guys. Please, if you really like what we do, we are on Patreon at patreon.com/podbros. Only $1 a month. That helps us out tremendously. If you shop on Amazon, go to podbros.com. Use our link. Doesn't cost you anything, but helps us in the long run. All right, that's it. I'm John,
I'm Jeff.
I'm Damon.
and you have been listening to another episode of the Jean Pod Van Dam Cast. Be sure not to fuck the valet on your way out.
Oh, man.
Stop! What? I have to stop!
Come on!